Welcome back, everybody. This is David Spider Monkey 2A, and we're back out at the range. Today we got my brother Scott out here, and today we're just going to do a fun little video showing what you can do with a Ruger 1022 to kind of make it your own configuration. Stick around, should be a lot of fun.
Hey guys, Scott here. Talking to you today a little bit about a Ruger 1022 build that I did a couple years ago, and I've been using it for some NRL 22 shoots. And it's pretty fun because you can put one of these together for really reasonable with parts that you can order online. Go buy your Ruger 1022 for a few $100s and spend a little bit more. You can really turn this thing into something that's really fun to shoot. I like to work with a company called Kidd, K-I-D-D. Kidd makes some of the best Ruger 1022 stuff at really affordable prices. I took my Ruger 1022 receiver, which we got right here. I stripped everything out of it, and I went with Kidd products for the bolt, the cocking mechanism, and the barrel. The trigger, I upgraded the trigger to a Ruger BX trigger, which is a great change from the standard Ruger trigger. Only 60, 70 bucks. About the easiest money you could spend to really make this thing great. I went one step further and I did go with another upgraded trigger from another company. They basically take a Ruger BX trigger and they upgrade it from there. One of the cool things about this is with scopes coming down in price and really getting some great adjustments and availabilities in these scopes, you can pick up a scope for $300 to $500 that can really let you take your 22 all the way out to 300-400 yards relatively easily. You want to try a bunch of different ammunitions, figure out which one works the best. Today we're going to be shooting SK Match. This is what I've found to be the most accurate out of my rifle. And I tend to use a 15 round mag, and the reason for that is it's a little bit easier to get it in and out of the chassis when I'm doing it. While we're talking about the chassis, you do not need to go crazy on a chassis. This is a Archangel stock chassis, whatever you want to call it. It's completely adjustable. It lets my little guy who's 9 years old use the 22, and it lets me use the 22. It's under $200. Don't let anybody ever goad you into having to spend huge money on a chassis to make it do what you need it to do. This is a great little product for a great price. So what I want to do is I want to take it out and shoot long range with it, okay? We're going to do some 100-yard groups, and then there's a couple pieces of steel down here where we're shooting, ranging from 100 yards to 149, 150 yards. We're going to play around a little bit and see if we can hit those. I'll show you some of the dialing configurations that happens up on the top of the scope to get you there. And you'll see that it's really easy to take your Plinkin 1022, take it out to long range. So when you're looking at zeroing your 22 for ranges that you intend to shoot long range, or if you're just going to use it for squirrel hunting, whatever, close range, I tell people always zero at 25 yards. What 25 yards is going to do is it's going to let you always have to dial upward if you're shooting at longer range. So at close range, you're going to be about spot on. And at 50 yards, if you dial it in at 25 yards, usually you're within about 1/10 of a mil, you know, at that range, which is next to nothing. I mean, you're going to hit your target whether you're squirrel hunting or whether you're using it for NRL 22 competition, just by aiming straight at it. When we get out to longer ranges, we're going to be stretching it. I use a mil scope as opposed to an MOA, but when we get out to over 100 yards, we're going to be stretching past 2 mils, 2.5, 3 mils as we get going. So at that point there, it's nice to have either a reticle that does the job for you, which this scope has, or an adjustable turret with a zero stop that lets you be able to turn all the way back to zero and have it firmly stop. That is a good thing to have. That way you always know you're back to zero. This one has a locking turret too. Bonus, but definitely not a requirement. Just as long as it's got a zero stop, usually you'll be fine. Okay guys, so we've already got it 0 to 25 yards. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put down a 5-round group at 100 yards and see where we're at, make sure that we've got our dope right for today. So my calculator is telling me today that I'm gonna need about 1.8 mils of elevation. So I've dialed 1.8 mils on my scope, and now I'm gonna shoot at 100 yards. I've got just a touch of left to right wind, so I'm going to hold left a couple tenths too to try and get it to land pretty close to the bullseye. We'll see what kind of group I can put down. We're looking for an inch and a half out of a 22 like this. Pretty good group at that range, so we'll see what we can come up with. All right, so this is our group that we put down. Pardon the pollution on the other targets. We've been doing a lot of shooting today. So as you can see, this is just over an inch group, probably 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, and that's more than adequate for doing what we're trying to do, especially out of a 10-22. So I'm pretty pleased with that. That gives us a pretty good foundation. It lets me know that my calculator was reading right. So that should make my calls for when I'm shooting at the longer range work out pretty well. I should make a note. So I was aiming about right here, okay? And that with the wind, it put me in about right here. So I've got, you know, almost 2 inches of wind drift happening there, 1 to 2 inches. So there is just a little bit of wind, but it's not enough to really mess with us real bad. We shouldn't have any trouble hitting the steel. While we're down here, we take a look at some of that steel. So this piece of steel that we've got right back here is at about 115 yards. And then as you go back further, you got another piece of steel at about 145 yards. So say 120 and 145. And then when you get up closer to the front, when we go back up front, then we've got another piece that's a little bit closer. There's another one way in the back there. We can take a couple pokes and see if we can get back to that one too. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try and hit some steel that we've got setting at 100 yards. We've got some more at 123 yards, 146, and 182. So I've got the ranges all written down, and I've got what I need to dial on my scope written down so that I can try and track those. Okay, so we're gonna try and put 3 of them on each piece of steel. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it if there isn't too much traffic. So we'll start out with the 100, and we'll work our way back to the 182, see what we can come up with. Here we go. So I've got it dialed right now at 1.9 for my 100-yard shot. See if we can put 3 on steel. Here we go. There's 1, 2. All right, we got our chip shots out of the way. So we're good to go there. All right, so now we're gonna move out to our 123 range, see what we can come up with there. So now we need 3 mils. So we dial our scope to 3.0, pop our safety off, and here we go. Impact number 1, impact number 2, impact number 3. All right, we're doing well so far. Moving out to 146, we need 4.5 mils. So I dial my scope to 4.5. Breeze is picking up just a little bit, so we'll probably give it just a little more wind correction. See where we're at. Ooh, we were low on that one. Come up just a bit. Low again. We're gonna keep shooting that one. Actually, maybe we're high on that one, huh? Yeah, that's what we were. We were going over it, not under it. That one was under it. All right, we got our 3, but it wasn't pretty. We're gonna reload quick. Gets a little tricky when you get out there in the wind. So the wind is pushing it a little bit. I'm shooting at a diamond shaped target. So if I'm off any bit left or right, you know, I don't have the full benefit of it being a square to catch my miss. When you're shooting with a backstop that's that far away, it's pretty tough to tell if you missed high or low. If you got a good spotting scope, sometimes you can see, especially with a 22, where that went. Otherwise, you're kind of at the mercy of guessing whether it was high or low. All right, we got her reloaded. We hit our 146 3 times now. Let's move out to 182, and it's calling for 6.9 mils. So we're gonna go there. Again, that wind is kicking up just a touch for us, just in the nick of time. Okay, this one's way out there. Just that parallax to really get it close. All right, here we go. We were just over it. There's an impact. Impact. Miss. And we're out. Okay, so with the wind, it gets a little bit trickier when you get out there. And those targets they're not small, but they're not big. So, but it's a good time shooting a 22 anytime you get out and do it. And it's cheap to shoot, even when you buy the name brand, the good quality ammunition. It's still cheap to shoot compared to shooting anything else. Usually you can find rimfire ammunition. And I think really, if you're trying to get kids involved, or if you just want to go out and shoot a lot of volume of ammunition, 22 is definitely the way to go. And you can get into it for pretty reasonable. You don't have to build a rifle either. There's plenty of rifles that you can go out there and buy and get into them for $500-600 that are going to be exceptional shooting rifles. Go out, get a 22, go out and play around.
All right, everybody, there you have it. It's a fun little video for Scott showing us some upgrades that he made to his Ruger 1022, kind of giving you that baseline of what you can possibly go out and do on your own. He said you can build these up just about any way you want to. They're kind of the AR of the 22 world.
For sure.
Anything else you want to add, Scott?
Yeah, if you're interested in knowing a build sheet or anything like that for what we've used to do this stuff today, just comment or whatever and we can get that information for you. There's just so much good stuff out there. There's so much of it that we haven't even tried. You know, I mean, there's so little that I've got sitting here, so many choices in a Ruger 1022, and you can buy the parts just about anywhere. So go out, have some fun, and like I said, if you got any questions, shoot us a message and we'll be able to get them answered for you.
Yep, leave them in the comments below. We'll be happy to get back to you. All right, everybody, this is Dave and Scott with Spider Monkey 2A. Give us a like, maybe share this video. Hope you subscribe. If not, thanks for stopping by.